Drake, if you're listening, or if you know Drake, he needs to do a fragrance collection of his own. If he needs my help, I'm right here. All hail a beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we are back for another edition of Big Beard Business. Today we're here with a video that I personally think is cool and a little bit different than videos I've seen before. Now this video comes by way of a question that was asked in Scent Explorer 2021, but it was more relative to a specific house. But I'm going to open this video up to a bunch of different fragrance houses today. And as you can see from the title, today we're talking about 10 executive level fragrances for men. And these are fragrances that really work in the office and you can smell on executive leadership. Now, you may not be able to tell from how I act and look and dress in these videos, but I do pretty well in the corporate world. And I'm one of those guys who haven't really changed where he came from. I came from Baltimore and I'm kind of a Baltimore guy, all right, through and through, but there's small changes that you have to make. However, if you work in a Fortune 500, 200, 100 company, and you begin to meet these executives, there are a few things that you want to make sure you're doing. If it's your first time meeting them and you have something of value, then cool, be brief, be bright, be gone. And you also want to make sure that you are memorable. And in the same way, they want to do the same thing to you because the interactions matter. So today we're going to jump into some of these fragrances that do the same thing. They're brief, they're bright, they're gone, but they make a lasting impression. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get down to Big Beard Business. Now, the first fragrance I want to mention today is said to make a presence in any room. And that's exactly what your C-level suite executives are going to do, and most executives in any instance. But this fragrance comes from Roja, and this one is Vetiver Parfum Cologne. This thing is just an amazing scent. And again, it really does make a great first impression, and it makes an impression in any room nonetheless. Now, I am a huge fan of this fragrance and a lot of Vetiver fragrances for sure, but this fragrance is done extremely well. Vetiver Parfum Cologne has that elegant feel to it. You can smell sophisticated, and that's exactly what happens. In terms of your notes with this fragrance, well, the notes are plentiful. You have bergamot, you have lemon, you have rose, you have pepper, you have pink pepper, you have obviously the notes of vetiver, and it goes on. An amazing fragrance in my personal opinion, and one that C-level executives should and could be wearing. Now, the next fragrance I want to talk about today, it's woody freshness, and it's a masculine fragrance through and through. The fragrance comes from the house of Creed, and it's one of their best-selling fragrances, and this one is Creed's Green Irish Tweed. Now, Green Irish Tweed to me is a fragrance that really works in the springtime. Bright, fresh, airy, and it does so many things well. This one is sure to leave a lasting impression. I've been talking about this for years, but bosses, executives that I know in the real world wear this fragrance for sure because it does great things. It's brief, it's bright, it's gone with a lasting impression, and you really can't go wrong with this fragrance. In terms of what Creed has to offer, well, this is one of those top tier fragrances that really has survived the decades, all right, and the various trends within the fragrance community. And I think that you cannot go wrong with this fragrance. You dress this fragrance up with a suit and you are good to go. Creed's Green Irish Tweed. Now, the fragrance we'll transition to next is one of the newer fragrances on today's list. This one actually was released in 2020, and the fragrance does a lot, okay? But here's what I can tell you to expect at minimum from this fragrance. You are definitely going to make an impression. Good, bad, or indifferent, you will not be forgotten with this scent. The fragrance comes from the house of Amouage, and this is Amouage Interlude Man Black Iris. Now, Black Iris is to me a fragrance that is bold, it's mysterious, and again, sure to make a statement. This fragrance is a little bit different than the others on today's list because although it is bold, it also is vibrant as well. It has this thick, static feel to it that really is something that is unconventional, but it does work. Now, the only difference here that I'll tell you versus most of the fragrances on today's list is that if you are an executive or if you plan to wear this one to the office, really be cognitive of how many sprays that you do with this one because, again, it is potent and it could leave a bad impression. However, when done well and worn properly, this fragrance is definitely going to leave the minds thinking about you. What did you say? What impression did you make? And can the troops get the job done? Well, I believe that Amouage Interlude, man, Black Iris is one of those fragrances that can help you along the way. So if you plan on wearing this one to the office, just be brief on the sprays and you'll be A-okay. Now, make no bones about it, the next fragrance on our list today is reserved for those of you out there who got your money right. You're not playing around, and in most cases, C-level executives or executives in general should be good to go. All right, this fragrance, by the name and the price point alone, lets you know that you are not playing in the little leagues. The fragrance comes from the house of Royal Crown, and this one is Royal Crown's Upper Class. Now, to me, Upper Class is this charming, elegant scent, and it's a bit of a play on the name because there is a little subtlety there as well. This fragrance is super nice. It is elegant for sure, and it has this high-class, sophisticated feel to it. Now, what I do enjoy about this fragrance is that I am a fan of sweet fragrances, and this one does have a sweet tinge to it. Now, in addition to that sweetness, you also get some pink pepper for a little bit of spice. You get some leather, Burmese oud, and then there's a green musky base with this scent, and it's really bright and airy. I enjoy this fragrance a lot. I've talked about it a lot in the past, and it's been maybe 6-7 months since I've talked about this fragrance, but this is an extremely enjoyable fragrance. It gets the job done. It's crowd pleasing, and you're not going to smell this one on everyone. I think this retails for just about $600, but it can be found via the links down below on a sample, decant, or on a discounted price point. Now, the next fragrance on our list today is one that has that same type of feel to it as Upper Class. And when I say feel to it, not in terms of smell, but it's marketed towards the same people. It also has that same elegant feel to it. And the fragrance comes from the house of Creed. This fragrance is really centered around wood, leather, marble, and gold. This fragrance is a rarity, and it's one that I truly enjoy. The fragrance is none other than that of Creed's Royal Oud. As you can tell by the name, this one is not for the peasants. No, man, but all jokes aside, this fragrance is one that just gets the job done. This fragrance is loved by the men and women who wear this fragrance because women can wear this one. However, if you're a woman watching this video and you're looking for something for yourself, other than fragrances that we've mentioned today, Creed's Princess Oud is a great way to go as well. Now, what I also enjoy about Creed's Royal Oud is that with the note breakdown in this fragrance, they come together so well. In the base here, you have Tonkin musk, you have sandalwood and Indian oud. In the mid, there is angelic root and galbanum, and then you have some bergamot in the top as well as some other notes. But just a royal fragrance. It has that feel to it for sure, and it's one that I really enjoy, and I think C-level executives all around the world will as well. And this next fragrance is a 2021 release, and by far the cheapest fragrance on today's list, but I felt like it deserved a spot on today's list, so therefore I'm giving it to it. The fragrance comes from the house of Dior, and this one is Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, I know some of you are tired of me talking about this fragrance, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I really enjoy it, and that's what happens when I enjoy fragrances. I talk about them over and over and over again, over and over again. All right, listen, this scent here to me is probably more suited for an executive than any other Dior Sauvage fragrance out there. The EDT, no. EDP, no. Possibly the Parfum, but the Elixir version is going to be that fragrance that really not only has that nice, powerful, but refined feel to it. It's refined enough and subdued enough where a C-level executive or an executive in general could wear this fragrance. It's not one that's going to be too potent, but it will be long-lasting. It will be there, and then as you leave, it will leave a lasting impression, if I haven't already said that. So I've talked enough about that scent where I don't need to expand on it much more than what I did. Be sure to check out the official review, and I'll leave it linked and listed down below for you. Now, the next fragrance on this list is one that really is just top tier to me, and it is from the master of seduction himself. This one comes from the house of Tom Ford, and this one is Tom Ford Tuscan Leather. Now, Tuscan Leather is a fragrance that was introduced into my collection via my wife. It's call it 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago. But I've heard about this fragrance via Drake. Tom Ford Tuscan leather, smelling like a brick. And when I think of what Drake portrays, he's not like a gangster rapper. He really does have this vibrato about him that is like a ladies' man. But also, I could see him outside of rap being a divine businessman. If you look at his business ventures, either he or people in his team, and likely the collective of both, have really done a great job in securing his future outside of music. And one of the fragrances that he mentioned was this, and I would agree wholeheartedly with him. I'm not sure why he hasn't come out with his own fragrance line yet, but if Drake, if you're listening, or if you know Drake, he needs to do a fragrance collection of his own. If he needs my help, I'm right here. Now, this scent here is just a phenomenal fragrance. In addition to that leather within this, you get some raspberry, which are one of the key notes here, or oriental fragrance that is really sure to make a lasting impression. And it's so nice that there have been a lot of clones of this fragrance, as well as the House of Tom Ford really recreating this, changing it up a bit and creating different types of fragrances along the spectrum. So be sure to check this fragrance out, Tom Ford Tuscan leather. And if you like the more intense approach, then try Tom Ford Tuscan leather Intense. We are down to our final 3 fragrances on today's list, and as we embark to the closeout of this video, I know what some of you may be thinking is that these fragrances are expensive. Well, again, this video specifically is for executive level, and these are fragrances that they should be easily able to afford. But for those of you out there just putting CEO, CFO, CMO, COO, and any other variation of C in your Instagram bio just to put it there, then this may not be for you. Now, the next one that I want to talk about was also released in 2021, and it comes from the house of Memo Paris, or Memo Paris, however you prefer to pronounce it. But what you can't say is that this fragrance is weak, because it's not. They describe this fragrance as a solar parfum, or perfume, so to speak. And the fragrance is none other than Corfu. This fragrance here to me is vibrant, it's fresh, it's uplifting, but it is sure to create a lasting impression. When I think about it, to me, Corfu may not be a fragrance for everyone, but again, if you want a fragrance that's vibrant, has a fizzy approach to it, has a lasting scent trail, then this is one of those scents that you can do. What I do enjoy about this fragrance is how masterfully they incorporated the note of rhubarb. Now, rhubarb within fragrances, to me, can come off a little bit but with this one, they have done it really, really well. So with that, you're going to create a lasting impression. It's going to be fizzy, it's going to tickle the nostrils, and it's just a good scent all around. Also with this one, it has this bit of an earthy feel to it, but it's really bright, really vibrant, and it works for sure. Now, the next fragrance comes from the house of Penhaligons, and this one is none other than Halfeti. If you're looking for a masterful woody fragrance, and this is one that you should try. Now, this fragrance to me is a unisex fragrance, and I think you can really get that by viewing the bottle. Top tier scent that I don't wear that much, because I do prefer another woody fragrance. But I didn't put this one on a list, the other woody fragrance, because it's not readily available right now. It's going to re-release in the year of 2022, and we're here. But the fragrance comes from the house of KILIAN. That one is KILIAN Sacred Wood. Now, they have similar nuances to them, but they don't smell the same. If you're looking for a top tier woody scent, then these are 2 fragrances that you can go for. That sandalwood within the fragrance, it's really there. It has this creaminess that just works, and these fragrances are both long lasting. So if you're looking for a fragrance that you can wear, readily available, look at Halfeti, and be sure to check out the house of KILIAN for Sacred Wood. Now, the next fragrance I want to talk about today has this feel to it that is very reminiscent to fragrances that you love, i.e. Creed's Aventus, right? But to me, this fragrance does a lot of things well and different than Creed Aventus, but also has enough the same that I think it's easy to understand. The fragrance comes from the house of Nishane, and this one is Nishane's Hacivat. Now, Hacivat to me is a fragrance that really plays on the top notes of bergamot, grapefruit, and you also have that pineapple there. This fragrance is bright, it's fresh, it's uplifting, it's airy, it projects, it performs, it does all of the things that people say Aventus doesn't do any longer. This one is an extrait de parfum, so it's powerful, projects, and it is long lasting. I believe this fragrance is great value for the money, and if you want to make an impression as an executive, this is one of those fragrances that you can wear. And if you're not an executive yet, but in your career pathing and planning, you want to find yourself along this journey and begin to prepare for the position that you want, be sure to check out any of these fragrances, and there are a plethora and a whole slew of other fragrances out there you could try as well, just some from my personal recommendation and collection. So there you have it, Nishane. I've done a review on this fragrance and I gave this one a 10 out of 10 because it's magnificent. I'll leave all of these fragrances listed down below so you can sample them and see if these are fragrances that you would potentially enjoy. As always, I'm your boy, Big Beard B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn